All right, Mike Delia, ladies and gentlemen. All right, next up on our roster, you may have heard of this local band, the Bad Boys of Blues. So we've got Mike Barrett coming up here, and he's going to be inducting Mr. Michael Bay. So without further ado, Mike Barrett.
Thank you, Terry. I don't normally take my hat off on stage, but I'm gonna today because I got my notes in there. Yes, I needed notes. You're right. I'll keep it on. Well, the first thing I'd like to do is really just thank the Cleveland Blues Society for doing this event. Please, a round of applause for these guys. It's a lot of work. This is wonderful. Every one of these inductees absolutely deserves it, and I think it's just awesome, everything you guys do for our community. The Blues Cruise and everything. Sorry, I'm a little nervous. I'm not used to not having a bass in my hands. All right. So the day in September of 1994, my wife Kathy and I both got out of the Air Force, and I moved here from Japan. I didn't know anyone in Cleveland. And 2 days after we moved, we were staying at our in-laws on 117th and Florian Avenue. And we decided to go hear a band that I had heard about down kind of near where Brothers Lounge is. And they weren't ready to play, so we decided to go for a walk. And we were walking down Clifton, and we got in front of this World Cup coffee, and there was this guitar player sitting there playing with two high school kids, a saxophone player and a bass player. All this is very vivid for me because at the time I had no idea what I was going to do with my life. I just left this other career, and I was like, what am I going to do? So I sat down and listened to this guy, and he was just an incredible guitar player. I just had business cards made that day, and I gave him one. And I said, I'm a bass player, you're really good. And he's like, oh, well, we talked a little bit, and then we went and heard the other band, which were really good. They were called Lake Effect, I remember that. And 2 days later, this guy calls me at my in-laws' house, and he says, hey, I want to hire you for this jam night I want to start. And I'm like, well, you don't even know if I can play. And he goes, you sound like you know what you're doing, and if you don't, I'll just fire you. I was like, well, that's fair. True. And so we get together, we go to this place called Chiefs. It was right on the corner near my parents' house on 117th and Lorraine. And we did our first Wednesday night, and I think it was Becky Boyd was our host. That's how I met her. This thing ended up, as you guys all know, blowing up into, a year later we ended up moving it to the Parkview. And we've been together 30 years now, coming up in 2024. And we're going to do, in the process with Jim Wall, our drummer, we're in the process of starting an album we want to make with as many of the hosts as we can do. And just kind of do something to celebrate next year. That'll be pretty cool. But just getting back to when Michael first told me about this blues jam that he wanted to do, he said, the reason I want to do it, and this is really important to me because this is such indicative of the character of this guy. He just goes, I just want to have a place where my students can work out the things that we're doing. And a blues jam would be perfect because, blues is what we all loved already. We had already, we love our blues artists and we grew up. That was what made me want to play music in general. So his whole goal was to do jam nights that were to educate people, young people, and his other thing was he wanted to have a different host every week. And I don't know if he did this on purpose, but it forged a blues community. I literally watched it happen. I can remember play times of this, and then we ended up doing a Thursday at Savannah, which we're currently doing at Brothers. And I can remember looking out at Savannah at times and at the Parkview, thanks to Norm, and seeing Colin Dussault, Becky Boyd, Dave Morrison, Alan Green, Butch, Armstrong, all these blues people that I'm not going to forget. Mr. Lockwood, Robert Lockwood sitting there. And this was on their night off. Okay, these are all pros that don't have to be there, and they came. And we would sit around and talk. I instantly got plugged into this whole music community because of that man hiring me on a whim in 2 days, you know? And here we are 30 years later, and I got to tell you, Mom, I don't want to get emotional, but I love you, you know? Let me just get myself together here, sorry. Yeah, sorry. Anyway, the other thing is just having gotten to watch all of the young people that have become older people over 30 years go through the school of Michael Bay, and he's the principal, sort of. They come to our jams, and you know, if they have a problem, you know, he and I or Jim or Michael will sit down with them, and he'll go over things with them and make sure that, you know, next time you go up, do this, go to this chord or do this. And you know, they're not getting lessons officially from him, but they are getting a lesson every time they show up. And you know, we went on to tour together. We ended up becoming the rhythm section. Jim, myself, and Michael Bay were the rhythm section for the Walking Cane Band for 10 years. Yeah, we toured together, and Augie's still one of my best friends, and Michael's, and you know, just the amount of community, which I feel like the Cleveland Blues Society has really helped foster in a big way. We're all here. You know, I'm in my band Armstrong Bearcat because I met Michael Bay, because he's one of our hosts, and that's how I got to know him. You know? All right. I just also want to congratulate all the rest of the inductees, because you guys all deserve it, and I just love every one of you. All right, and now with that, I would just really like to officially induct my best friend, Michael Bay, into the Blues Hall of Fame.
Damn.
Don't drop it.
Wow. Thanks, Michael. I got to follow that. It's like following one of your bass solos. Jeez. Wow. Where'd you all come from? Look at you all out there. It's beautiful. I want to thank my grandmother, who bought a guitar sometime in the 1930s. It was under the couch forever. She never played it. And that was probably the start of what it is that I do. I don't know how that happened. Thank my mother and father, because I wouldn't be here without them. Little backstory. I want to thank my sister. She was the one that told me, all the ladies are my sister. Except for that one. My mentors, my teachers, hell, a day job that I had that I hated. That was inspiration every day to get out of that. My students, my friends, and most of all, the bad boys wouldn't be who they are without Michael Barrick and Jim Wall. I wish they could. They should be up here with me, and that's who I'm accepting the award for. 30 years with them. I think I told my wife this morning something I've never told anybody. Long time ago, I had a vision and a dream. Well, no, it was, what will I do with this music thing? And I was just young, had no idea. I didn't know there was a future in it. And then a voice quietly in my head or loud said, hopefully, if you do it right, you'll bring some love to the world. You'll touch a lot of people, make the world a better place. And seeing all you here, I think it's happened. Thank you.